Hi, I'm Mike Scully, and I'm on Don't Be Alone with Jake Hogan because I had a dental appointment next door.
Don't be alone with Jake Hogan.
Hello, Hogan Nation. Hello, Don't Be Aloners. It's time for Don't Be Alone with Jake Hogan, and I am Jake Hogan, and you are you. And I love hearing from you. So please write to me at dbawjk@gmail.com with all your suggestions, with all your comments, your criticisms, your listener mail. I love it. I want it all. And I really appreciate it. And if you have the chance, you can press subscribe to this on YouTube or like or whatever it is on whatever you're listening to. You can write a nice review. I love all the positive interaction, the kindness. We're just trying to get all the algorithms to think the show is worthwhile. And on the human side, if you actually think a show is worthwhile for a human being, you can just send it to a friend and just say, hey, listen to this. This might be fun for you. I do it all the time with many other podcasts, and people are appreciative. They like it, but only if you think it's good, but maybe you do. Anyway, today we have a really great show for you. Our guest today is Mike Scully, who used to work at The Simpsons. I also used to work at The Simpsons, but I didn't work with Mike Scully. But after I left, Mike went on the show and eventually became the showrunner. And what's remarkable about Mike is that people love him. People embrace him. People see him as a wise, pleasant, sweet showrunner figure. And part of me is jealous because I want to be perceived as that, but part of me is just impressed. How does he do it? What's his trick? What's his secret? Why do people like him so much? Why don't they like me that much? We'll find out more about this crazy, kooky guy from Massachusetts and what brought him to Los Angeles and what makes him cool and wonderful right after this.
Don't be alone with Jake Hogan.
Let's talk about getting from Springfield to Hollywood. So you started out doing stand-up comedy?
When I first got out here in '82, I was just doing like open mic nights at the Improv and Comedy Store and various
Did you go
restaurants.
from Massachusetts to New York first? Did you pit stop there?
No,
Most do.
That's actually one of my big regrets. I've worked with so many people that have great stories about their years in New York,
Right.
doing like SNL or Letterman or
The Cellar.
The Cellar. Yes,
Right.
exactly. And I never had that in my career. I just came straight out here. But I feel like I missed something with the New York years.
Ironic that you grew up in a town called Springfield and then spent much of your life writing about a fictional Springfield.
Right, yeah. No, a lot of people have asked me, is it based on this?
Right.
And I said, well, I didn't join the show till season 5,
Right.
so that would be
But
impossible.
The Simpsons is into predictions, so maybe
Yes,
they knew.
no, that's true.
But so what made you think there was a career here for you?
God, I had just kind of hit a point. I literally went to community college for a half a day, Holyoke Community College in Massachusetts, and thought, this isn't for me. I knew better.
Right.
Then I just started
That's a
working.
place for geniuses.
Yes,
So
pretty much.
Yeah, so I get it. Yeah.
I really didn't know. I just thought, I'm just going to work. Because you got to remember, too, this was like, I graduated high school 74. So, it was not that unheard of to not go to college. It wasn't automatically expected of everyone the way it is now. So I just started taking jobs, working various, flipping burgers and doing retail and hospital janitor. And I was a driving instructor.
What was the best of the shitty jobs?
Driving instructor.
Okay.
There was a blast.
Nerves of Steel.
Yeah, but it was also, I think, because of like the Bob Newhart album.
Yeah.
I had that in my head all the time.
Right.
And for some reason there was I feel like there was a commercial in the '60s where the instructor also had a steering wheel.
Yes.
Which wasn't true. You just have a brake.
Okay.
Yeah, but you have to reach over and grab the wheel if you need to steer around something.
Sure.
But so that job was just fun because I was on my own all day.
Did you teach your kids to drive?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Did you use your professional skills to do it, or were you more of a dad saying, scream at your kids?
No, because it actually goes back to the first time I went out with my dad. he took me out driving, literally, the very first time I've driven a car, because he would never let us touch his car. And within the first couple of minutes, he's screaming at me like, "Can't you fucking drive?"
Right.
like the top of his lungs, anger. Not that it took a lot to get him there.
Sure.
But, so I always kept that in mind, whether it was like teaching other people's kids to drive or teaching my kids. I'm incredibly patient.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
But it does require a certain you have to commit going in that there may be a car crash.
Yeah.
Something stupid might happen. It's okay. As long as nobody gets hurt,
Yes.
we're just going to ride this out and we're going to do our best to prevent it, but it's okay.
Yeah.
So like you have to go in with that to calm yourself down.
Yeah.
But I didn't tend to scream at anything. I just kept stop.
Yeah.
We're gonna stop. You can still stop.
Yes.
That brake pedal's right there. Just put your foot. That kind of
Yeah. No, I'm very good about knowing like well in advance of like letting people know what we're going to do next, so there's no surprises. And I even when I was teaching driving, I had a student that was deaf, but he was a great lip reader, and but in order for him to know what we were going to do next, he had to keep looking at me.
Right.
And then
keep your eyes on the road.
It took me a while to get like, I gotta get these. I gotta really be concise with these.
Right.
But he was actually a great driver because he had been taking his parents' cars for years without them knowing.
Right.
Like since he was like 13.
Yeah. Most of us did.
Yeah.
Didn't you take your dad's car?
No,
out of that?
never. Are you kidding me?
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. No.
Are you goody two shoes?
Just terrified of my dad.
Your dad. Okay. Yeah. No,
he was. Yeah, he was kind of a rage machine.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't have that. Well, that's good.
And my mom was the complete opposite.
This could explain why you're known to be one of the great showrunners. You have a reputation. I wouldn't know because one of the people at the table has never hired me, so I wouldn't know whether or not you're actually a good showrunner. But I've heard reputationally that you're a very, very good showrunner. And one of those things is because you may be living in reaction to a screaming, angry dad.
Yes, that's probably a good part of it. And I also love my family, want to go home at night. I had worked on shows where that wasn't always the case.
But the qualities that are part of being a good showrunner is, I want to get out of here. That's for sure one of them.
Yeah.
Patience is another one, but respecting people's time, like being aware of other people's time, not just your own.
Right. Yes.
Respecting a schedule, like understanding that other people are professional and have jobs to do, and like and the quality of the shows that you have made have been very, very high. So
I would say 70% worth.
Pretty good. Even shows that may not have been the most successful shows, like I was a big fan of The Pits. I was a big fan of Duncanville.
Thanks.
These are great shows.
Thank
I mean, I think when you made Duncanville, I think I wrote you a fan letter saying it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And it really was, because there had been a series of terrible cartoons being made.
Yeah.
And suddenly like, oh, here's a good one. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we had a blast doing it, and just fun staff, fun cast. It was during COVID, so we were doing it all from like the kitchen table and learning all that stuff.
That was hard.
It was crazy. Yeah, we didn't know like what we were capable of doing, or how do you do and then how do you record the actors and that kind of stuff. We had actors in their closet. We co-created the show with Amy Pohler, and but the cast was Amy and Ty Burrell, and just a great fun cast. But then you're recording them in their closets at home, and depending on their closet, you were like, we're still getting some echo on that. Can you put another coat over your head?
Right.
Adjusting sound that way. And the actors had to learn to become kind of sound engineers basically. Yeah. So, but no, thanks. It was one of those things. We wound up being kind of the victim of we wound up with 3 studios owning a piece of the show because Fox was sold to Disney during that time. So suddenly we had 3 studios owning the show, and nobody wanting to back off and be the major. If everyone took a little less,
Right.
maybe we could all keep this going, and it just wouldn't happen.
And you met Amy when you worked on Parks and Rec?
Yes, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was a blast because I mean she's everything you want her to be and more. She's so much fun, and I think just kind of the fellow Masshole thing clicked in like right away. Like we got along well. Like whether she was in the room or on set was like one of those shows where you really. A lot of times writers don't want to go on set,
Right?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
They can be turbulent places, or the depending on who the cast is,
It
and
always seemed like that's where the fun was.
depending on the show, I think.
I guess so. I mean, even on the most grumpy of shows, what's going on set seems more fun than what's going on in the writers' room.
Well, Parks and Rec was a rare thing where both places were equally fun. Like you didn't care if you were in the room or you're on set, you're going to have a good time.
Right.
And Parks and Rec was just a unique show. And I think it was the tone set, from Mike Schur,
Right.
In the writer's room and Amy on set. And you were going to have a good time no matter where you were. And even as the years went on Parks and Rec, I still remember like if you gave an actor like a new joke on set, like sometimes the joke just wouldn't
Right.
work or something like that. So you give a new or toss in an extra joke at the end of the scene. They can always cut it if they want.
Right.
And I remember like Nick Offerman would come over, and this was like I think season 4, and he came over after I'd given him an extra joke,
Right.
and we tried it. It seemed to work. He came over and he shook my hand and goes, "Thank you very much, sir." This is season 4.
Yeah.
At that point, the actors are usually barely speaking
Right.
to each other.
But at that
or
point-
they're working on their next thing.
Right, but that's also some Nick weirdness too, just about the formality and all that kind of stuff.
But that's kind of who he is. I mean, that cast was just I've been very lucky to work with a lot of really nice people for the most part.
I find that most of show business is nice.
It really is.
There's like a 5% of hellions
Yes.
that ruin it for everybody else. But most of show business is really, really nice.
Yeah, that's true. There's like a handful of monsters, and it's usually
Right.
the same people you hear all the time.
And you wrote jokes for Amy and Tina. Didn't you write some Golden Globe jokes or?
Yes, the years when they hosted the show.
So funny.
They were terrific, and it was a real learning experience for me. I had never done like an award show or anything
Right.
before, and we were all kind of crammed into this little area backstage. I was a nervous wreck. Because it was kind of like SNL kind of New York people,
Right.
like Robert Carlock and Seth Meyers was
Right.
there, and so I didn't really know the people. I only knew Amy really.
Right.
And I remember, and then like Amy and Tina were getting like fitted for wardrobe, and hair's being done, and Tina's got a laptop, in her lap while they're doing
Right.
it, and they're honing the script like right down to the last minute.
That is the nature of those people. I did a thing with Seth Meyers, and he's walking with his laptop, typing and like getting it done. It's like,
I think it's that SNL training that kicks in so automatically for them that it doesn't seem crazy to work that way. But for me, I'm more relaxed of like, all right, well, give us an hour or two, we'll get a joke.
Right. Right. I've never worked at SNL, but I always thought it would be great fun. And then everyone I've spoken to has said, no, it's not fun.
Yes.
It's really horrible. It's very difficult and unhappy.
But I do feel, and I have that same feeling, but I wish I had done it for at least like a week and then got fired or something.
Right. Let's talk about firing. So have you ever had...
I thought you were ending the podcast.
No, no, you're doing great. You're doing great so far. Have you ever had to fire somebody?
Yes. And to this day, there's no good way to do it. You kind of like wish somebody was just being such a jerk and such like where it could be easier,
right.
and the first time I did it, I'm terrible at it. I'm just awful at it. And I remember the first one, I actually, because in your head you kind of like prepare what you're going to say,
right?
But there's nobody sitting across from you,
right?
and suddenly you're looking at a fellow human being and a person you actually like personally, and it's not that they did something egregiously wrong or like, and I started to tear up.
Right.
I really did, to the point of where that person was consoling me.
That's a great strategy, though, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
You break down and panic, and they say, "It's okay, man.
Yeah.
It's all right. I'll find another job. Things will be fine for me."
I'll be good.
Yeah. That's,
It's just an awful thing, because you're putting somebody out of work. You're
Right.
taking income out of their pocket. They
Also-
might have a family or what. It's horrible.
It
It's
is horrible. And also because you
if
do
it
it-
ever gets easier for you,
Yeah.
I think there might be something wrong with you.
Don't be alone with Jake Hogan.
And have you ever been fired?
Oh God, no.
Okay, thank God.
with the cut of my gym.
No, exactly. Your gym is fantastic, by the way. You have a gym,
No,
man?
yes, I have been fired.
Okay, yes.
I've been fired a few times.
All right.
Actually, yeah. And it sucks.
Do you understand why you were fired, or in those occasions, or is it just like it doesn't matter?
It doesn't, usually it's kind of a, I think when it's been kind of a clean sweep thing, like where they're like firing everybody. But there was one time where I thought it was a sweep,
Right.
and then found out it was me.
Oh no,
It was just me.
bad.
Yes.
So really, you're making commiserate calls to other people saying,
Yeah.
"Isn't it bad that we all got fired?" And they said, "Mike, we're in the office right now."
Yeah. That I remember I was so calm, and handling it so well.
Wow.
When I just assumed
Yeah.
it was the group, and then it was like an hour or two later I found out it was just me.
Wow, that is a bummer.
Then I was pissed.
Yeah, that get bad. I've been fired, as far as I know, only once, and it was a shock to me.
Yeah.
And I still don't know why.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So there was no warning, and it wasn't
there was
explained.
no
in the-
warning, and
yeah.
it was not explained. It was the decision of a star on a TV show,
Oh.
and I had worked on a pilot, and then the pilot went, and then and as we're making the pilot into the series, during that process, I got my here's your hat.
But the pilot went to series.
Yeah.
All right. So
And
we have a shared experience.
Yeah, and I got paid. I
Yep,
got paid
yeah,
because
yeah.
my contract says you get paid. So, but I still don't.
Yeah.
And the show, I mean, of course I'm biased, but the show wasn't better for my not being there. But I was kind of relieved to not be there
Right.
part of the time. So I don't know. I was something. There's good and bad about it.
Yeah. I mean, in the moment, it sucks.
Right.
And then because you don't know what the future is. But then you move on to the next thing, and
I have not introduced you, by the way. It's been forever. So you're Mike Scully, right?
oh, sure.
You're Mike Scully?
Yeah. Yes.
All right, fantastic. We never worked together. I only know you sort of tangentially through The Simpsons and the world of The Simpsons and all that kind. But you first came to my attention when you were working on The Simpsons, and at some point you helped orchestrate The Simpsons going from a non-WGA show to a WGA show.
Right. Yes.
Was that true?
Yes.
You're one of those. So, like, our contracts, because of Sam Simon, were always attached to the basic minimum agreement. So we got paid what Writers Guild members got paid, but our pensions we didn't get pension and health benefits for it.
Right. Or like the script fees were not.
Our script fees, when I was worked there, were exactly what the basic minimum agreement was.
Really?
Yes.
Because when I got there in season 5, they were not.
Oh, interesting.
Because it was a non-union show.
Right.
So the script fee was a third of what the WGA script fee was, which dictated your residual
Right.
was based on
Well,
that.
Fox, when we were working there, Fox got a break. Fox was a fourth network, fledgling fourth network.
Oh, yes,
and
yeah,
had a
yeah.
break of what that price was.
Yeah.
So we were.
Yes, they tried to ride that for years. Yeah.
Well, but here's the thing: you got them. You got was a Family Guy. I mean, who are the animated shows that were that were on Fox that became unionized?
We organized with King of the Hill,
King of the Hill.
Family Guy, and to Seth MacFarlane's credit, the show hadn't even aired yet.
Right.
They were in production on their first episode, and Seth signed on.
Right.
Futurama, a show called The PJs,
Sure.
the Eddie Murphy thing, and then I think there was one other. There was like 5 or 6 shows, and we basically sent a letter to the studio saying, if we're not covered by the WGA deal and treated equally to live action writers within 2 weeks, we're shutting down all these shows. It was kind of a wildcat strike situation.
Right.
And to the studio's credit, they tried to bribe their way out of it.
Right.
But it didn't work. And we just kind of hung together, and they saw the sense of it. And there was part of me that in talking to them, I think they were kind of partially like, because this is now season like 9 or so, and where they were like, what took you guys so long?
Right.
Right. Because this, you're never going to be on a show that had more leverage than The Simpsons did in the 90s. So we were able to get the show covered, because I didn't know it. My agent didn't tell me when I was on the show. When I got the job, she didn't tell me it was a non-union show.
Right.
So I found out when I got my first script fee, and I thought there was a mistake on the check, and it was explained to me, no, that's what it pays. And then I started to realize, wait a minute, I don't have health care. And
Right.
because I had kids.
Sure.
I was the only writer on staff, I think, at the time that had kids. So it was a big concern for me. So anyway, we got the show covered, and a lot of,
One of the things that went away in the negotiations for that, the agreement for the show to be WGA, is that character fees for the show up until the point where it was negotiated to be a union show wouldn't count.
Right.
Okay. So you know who that affects?
Yes.
Me.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's crazy that so many classic episodes. And if I could go back just actually for 1 second, because talking to you is reminding me, when The Simpsons first came on,
Yes.
like when I had seen the shorts on Tracy Ullman, and I thought it was like, okay, and then when I heard they were going to do a show, like a half, and I remember my original, reaction was, a half an hour of that every week.
Right.
Good luck.
Right. Right.
And my wife Julie had been watching this show, and I refused to. I thought I was like above cartoons. I've aged out of cartoons.
Of course.
I'm not 12 years old. I'm an adult. And she said, "You've got to watch this thing. It's super smart. It's really funny." She says, "Just try one."
Right.
She finally got me to sit down for one. She like made me dinner and put me in front of the TV. And the episode happened to be Bart the Daredevil.
Oh, great. All right.
It was the funniest thing. And in particular, the gorge sequence.
Yes.
I'm watching it and going, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen on television. I'm laughing so loud and hard.
Yeah.
And it just changed my mind, completely. And I, at that point, had no possibility of working on the show.
Right.
It just made me a fan of the show.
That's my favorite episode that we worked on was Bart the Daredevil. That's my very favorite episode. I love that show. And it still holds up.
Yes. And it's still like, to this day, like, that clip, if it pops up in anything, I have to watch it all the way through.
It was a big fight, as you may or may not know.
No, I don't know that.
Matt Groening didn't want Homer to fall down a cliff. He says that's too cartoony. That's not what we do here. We're trying to be a real show. These are real people, and if somebody falls down a cliff, they die.
Right.
And Sam Simon was like, well, we'll make it seem real. It's not going to be like Bugs Bunny where he falls down and puff of smoke. It's going to be painful, and he'll be injured and have to go to hospital. And people fall down cliffs and live. It's okay. But there's a big fight back and forth, and at some point, mysteriously, the animation for that sequence did not get animated.
Oh wow! I've never heard any of this.
And we thought, well, maybe it was from certain camps, didn't want to, and then we had to reanimate it, and then was finally. There was big fighting between people. Eventually, Matt said yes. he came to, see the value of it. And I've spoken to him right here, and he says he now loves it. It's one of his favorite things. So,
oh, wow. That's amazing. Yeah. Well, that happens, on shows, you know, like
but it was a big fight, fight, because that was the first cartoony thing.
Yeah.
Cartoony-ish thing we'd ever done, which is somebody falling down a cliff. That is very Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
But going back to the millions of dollars I lost from this negotiation, who did the negotiating of all that stuff?
It was actually pretty straightforward in that it was just treat us like a live action show.
Right.
Just give us those terms, because we were, the show at that point was, was printing money for Fox.
Right.
And you would see these other shows come and go, these live action shows, and knew, well, that staff, they're getting health care, they're getting pension residuals, all that stuff.
Right.
But, The Simpsons is kind of keeping this place afloat. So,
for sure.
It all worked out. I mean, to this day, the fight continues if you sell an animated show.
It does not automatically go into the Writers Guild bracket?
No, because animation is not under the Guild MBA.
It is not. It's true.
You're always on your own to fight it, with the advice of many, like myself and many other writers who have gone through it now and can at least.
Are there any shows on Fox that aren't WGA now?
Right now, yes.
Oh, which ones?
Crapopolis.
Oh.
Grimsburg.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, there's been since the Disney purchase of 20th. 20th has been great about WGA for animation. Fox Network now has their own studio called Fox Entertainment, and they have not been great about WGA coverage, and I continue to hope that they change back to.
Wow.
Yeah.
But this show, Don't Be Alone with Jake Hogan, is about people coming here to solve my problems. So you're here to solve my problem.
Your problem. So, okay.
So my problem is this, that I think you can solve, which is you're perceived, and I've hinted at this before, that you're perceived as a very good showrunner, but also amongst the crew of The Simpsons and the people, you're perceived as a good dad. Like when you're showrunner, you're like a good dad. I think people think that you have good advice, that you're pleasant, that you're wise, all these things that no one thinks about me when I'm running a show. They're
no
just
one thinks you're pleasant or wise?
I don't think they think any of those things. I think they're just like, if they have a problem, they look at me and then find someone else. So what is it about? What are you projecting?
So you're a bad dad?
I'm an okay dad in real life, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't have the gravitas.
Do you get the belt out in the writer's room, or what?
I don't hit anybody, but I do the snapping thing.
The snapping thing.
You know where you snap the belt.
Oh yeah.
But everybody says, Scully, ask Scully. Scully will know. So what is it about your advice that's so magical?
I still remember vividly, like getting my first job on a show, being like the new person in the room. Like right before I started, there was a Vanity Fair article. And maybe it was like The Simpsons writer's room, the dream team of comedy or something like that. So I bought it and read it thinking, oh, that would be great to know who the people are and know a little bit. And instead, it freaked me out. I didn't know the whole Harvard thing. So I was realizing I'm going to be in a room with 19 Harvard grads, and I'm going to be the village idiot with a half a day of community college. And anybody who was there will back me up. I did not speak for 3 months. In the room. Every day I was going home to my wife, we can't buy anything. We can't, I'm going to be fired. And then you start putting that pressure on yourself of, I've got to talk tomorrow. I've got to say something. I've got to pitch something. And it was really tough. So I've never kind of stopped remembering who that guy is. So whenever I'm running a show, and you always try to bring in some new voices and something like that. But
not me, but yes.
Not you.
Other new voices.
Oh, I said new, young voices.
Sure,
right. Plus, I had heard you were such a hothead.
Exactly. Very difficult to work with.
Yeah. So I always kind of picture when I see the new writers, and inevitably I see the quietest writer for some reason takes the seat farthest from the showrunner. Because you just don't want to be. And I'll sometimes deliberately move people around and say, sit closer to me because
Right.
I don't want to miss what you're saying.
Right.
Because there's people like that. They
That's
pitch
great.
great stuff, but they're on the quiet side.
So I'm hearing empathy.
Yes.
I'm hearing deep empathy.
Yes.
And that's a lovely quality that most Hollywood producers are known for.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. No, I mean, we're not known for that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I like I said, I never there's a part of me that never stopped being that guy. And also, you got to build up people's confidence in the room.
Right.
The stronger the room comes together and starts to really work, the easier my life becomes, and makes me, we go home early,
Right.
which always is the goal.
It's question time.
Question from Alex Ortega, who writes, what was one of the biggest challenges of becoming the show's, I guess he means The Simpsons, becoming the Simpsons showrunner?
Oh, I'm sure everybody who's run the show would say the exact same thing. Is like, don't wreck it,
Right.
And that's the constant fear of, or that you were going to run out of stories.
Right. Well,
Like, on your shift.
Right.
Like, I don't know. We just ran, and there were times. There's always times. I think where you feel like, well, I think we're running on fumes now.
Right.
And then the next week somebody has a great idea for something.
When I watch The Simpsons that I worked on, I only see the mistakes.
Yes.
I only see the
Oh
problems.
my God, yes.
And
yeah.
and fortunately, there's been 40 years of shows I didn't work on where it's fantastic.
Yeah.
The shows are great.
Yeah, or having the solution to something 20 years later.
Right.
Yeah, I got it.
Now it's good.
3 a.m.
I'm very happy to put that aside. I'm very happy
Yeah.
to not think about it anymore. Salmaya K writes, what's your favorite and least favorite guest star during the episodes?
Oh God, favorite guest stars. There's so many, when people come there, there's so much fun. They're usually excited to be there, and a lot
Right.
of them are doing it. I'm sure you remember a lot of them are doing it for their kids.
Right.
Originally, like they know it's the first thing maybe that their kids are gonna
Watch.
see them
Yeah.
in, or So, God, I remember like in the early years down there. I remember once we were busy in the room and Michelle Pfeiffer was there. We heard she was on stage recording.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got the word like, oh, if you want to come down and see Michelle Pfeiffer, come now. And we were like really busy, like trying to get something
Right.
on the script. And it was whoever wants to go, go ahead.
The room emptied out.
Yeah, not the way you think.
Right.
Because a few weeks later, like Werner Klimper was there from Hogan's Heroes. And never has the room run so fast.
Wow.
To see, we all wanted to see Colonel Cling.
Sure.
So,
That's
because
funny.
you're seeing your childhood.
Sure. Plus, he's hot. I mean, have you seen Werner Klimper? Oh, my God.
Yeah. And I do
Those
remember
eyes.
it was fun watching David Merkin. At one point, we had him doing like a Homer, like the way he would say Hogan, and he had forgotten how to do it, how he used to say it on the show. So, and Merkin had to kind of
Imitate it.
reteach him.
Yes.
No, you'd go more like this.
Right, yeah. That's so funny.
But no, we've had great luck with the guest stars. Everybody's fun, and a lot. I'm a sucker for. We've had a lot of great bands on the
Right.
show over the years, and where they were like really fun to work with. Having Mick and Keith. That particular episode, the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, was so much fun having those guys in. You two and.
Yeah.
God, I mean, it goes on and on. You guys started with, like McCartney.
We got lucky. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
we didn't know at the time that it would be a cavalcade of celebrities,
Yeah.
but it was.
Yeah, you had Harrison, Ringo.
I mean, we've had a lot of. I
Yeah.
mean, we had all of these baseball stars.
Yeah.
We had Dustin Hoffman. We had Michael Jackson. We had like a bunch of
Yeah.
great people. Denise and Karma ask, and they have a Simpsonology show.
Oh yeah.
They ask.
I believe I
ask
know
him if what his favorite Alf compositions are. Well, Alf Clauson passed recently.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
this is the first mention of it on this show. And I had a big relationship with Alf. I was in charge of music for the first 5 seasons of the show.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And I got Alf as the composer for this. We tried a few different people.
Yeah.
And so it was, I had I loved Alf, and I thought Alf had the right tone and style for the show for the longest time. And then
Yes.
at some point they didn't, but
I enjoyed working with Alf. He did a lot of, I mean, I remember I had to write the song, See My Vest, for Mr. Burns. And
Right.
and the reason it wasn't intended to be that, it had to be, it was actually like a George pitch. Was we were at the part of the story we were basically doing, lady,
Right.
101 Dalmatians. So we're basically stealing that story. And we were getting to the point where Burns was going to explain his plan, that he was going to kill all these
Right.
dogs to make clothes. And we're like, all right, how do we say this and keep it funny at the same time and not just have it sound grisly? And George said, what if we like sang it as a song, because it might automatically feel lighter and more fun.
Yeah.
And that way. So that was my assignment. And at the time, my kids had loved, Beauty and the Beast. We'd seen it many times. So I took, Be My Guest,
Right.
made it See My Vest. But I was home writing it. And then Alf had the task of how do you do it without doing it?
Right.
But I think some of the plagiarism rules were a little looser
Right.
at the time about doing a knockoff of a song.
Well, The Simpsons, we were allowed to do parody.
Yes,
You're
you
allowed to
could
do
parody
parody.
lyrics, and then, but at one point, musicians came up with, yeah, but you're not parodying the tune.
Right.
So if the tune isn't parodied, it's not true parody. And then you had to start changing notes
Right.
in songs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Alf did such an amazing job with that, orchestration
Yeah, he
of
could
that
capture
song.
like when we did the Capital City song.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like a Frank Sinatra song. The orchestrations of Jeff Martin wrote that song, but
Yeah.
he made it sound. Alf made it sound like Nelson Riddle or Quincy Jones had arranged that.
Yeah, he was great in a variety of genres, but he also there was like a sweet spot where he just, to me, he really shone. Like wow, this, you'd go down to the stage
Right.
and watch him do his thing, and it was amazing to hear
The
it.
best was the emotion that he added to emotional scenes.
Yes,
Like that was to do that well without overreaching and overstepping and make you still feel that it's real and great. That's magic to me.
yes,
And he
yeah,
could do that in a heartbeat.
yeah. No, that's why it was fun when they did that show at the Hollywood Bowl, and you got to hear so much of the music back to back.
Yeah.
That he composed. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mick writes, what's the dirtiest joke you ever wrote for a Simpsons that aired?
Oh shit.
I don't think we were trying to write dirty jokes, right?
No, there's a Selman episode where Homer and Marge, like the whole third act is Homer and Marge are naked, running through town, trying to get home. And it was the first time I ever got a note. We used to get, standards notes from Fox, but where I got one where they were asking, kind of in bold face, please don't do this episode. Just in general.
Right.
They were very uncomfortable with it, and we had to assure them it would be okay. There is a segment where I think Homer is naked, standing behind one of those kind of lawn ornament things that's like two guys with like lumberjacks with a saw going like in front of his crotch or something like that. And there was just a tremendous amount of just nudity that Fox was very, very nervous about. Homer is dragged naked across the ceiling of the Crystal Cathedral and goes, oh, my ass, or something like that. Stuff like that. But
It seems like in a cartoon, what are they really worried about? You have complete control over
Yeah.
everything they get. You'd have to draw a penis and then
Yeah.
erase it.
Yeah.
Like I don't. It seems insane for
Yeah.
them to be worried.
Yeah, we always wrote the show for adults,
Right.
but with an awareness that kids were watching.
Yeah, we didn't at the first, and then eventually we came to that.
Yeah,
Yeah, we did. We thought this is just for adults,
Yeah.
and then people were saying it's a cartoon, kids are watching. So we came to that. We got a note. Yeah, censor notes. We brought it up. A very strange note. At one point, Homer tells Selma to take this license and shove it up your ass, and they said you can't say shove it up your ass.
Yes.
And they said, all right, well, can we say shove it in your ass? Much good fix. I know that was their suggestion.
That was their, yeah,
That
okay,
was their
yeah,
suggestion.
I'm remembering that story
They
now.
suggest,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
suggested, you know what would be better is if you shove it in their ass.
Yeah.
And we went, all right, like we were sacrificing something. I don't know what they thought. What that one was better or worse.
Yeah, I know that happens sometimes where there was an episode, it might have been a Dan Graney episode, where we needed like a joke version of like a Viagra type medication. And the one that was in the script was Bonestra is what we had in there. And they said unacceptable for broadcast.
Right.
Please submit alternate. So we sent over as a joke for the standards person, jam it in. And it came back okayed.
Wow.
So that's what wound up in the show.
God bless him. Billy Zander writes, can we get Apu back? I mean,
it's up to us.
you could. It's not up to us. I mean, Apu's not coming back. I think Apu's a bruise, a Simpsons bruise, and they don't want to to sort of aggravate the wound.
Yeah, and I miss the character. I
Me
really
too.
do. I would always say, and Hank Azaria's defense, not that he needs defending, but I thought Hank brought such a great humanity to the character, which is why we started going to him so often and doing full episodes. And one of the few characters to really evolve during the series, where he got married, he had kids, and
Hank would be the first to admit that he did not understand that people, that people were being hurt by this portrayal and didn't feel that people were being offended because it wasn't being portrayed by somebody who's a South Asian person. So
yes, no, it wasn't like the show was getting, complaints and that wasn't happening. So, the character is missed in that, he was. I remember Fox once asking me if you could spin off one character from The Simpsons, who would it be? And without hesitating, I said Apu.
Right.
I said, because he looks at this country completely the opposite of Homer. He actually is the embodiment of the American dream. He appreciates it. He doesn't take it for granted. And I thought it would have been a rich world to explore.
Counterbalance.
So the character is definitely missed.
Yeah. George writes, during your tenure, which regular character was the most difficult to write for?
Sometimes Marge stories were tough,
right?
Because we didn't want her to come across as like the buzzkill,
preachy,
or preacher naggy like that. But I think we also found there's so many great Marge stories. Julie brings such a great emotion to the character, and I believe Jim had the line of like, somebody had asked like, why would anybody love an idiot like Homer Simpson? And Jim's thing was, and maybe said it when you guys were first there, like the audience will love Homer because Marge loves Homer,
right?
And that never goes away. So in terms of like characters that are hard to write for, don't really recall it. It's fun when a character becomes a great surprise, a character you think is one episode. There's a character named Gil that done by Dan Castellaneta, kind of based on Jack Lemmon and Glengarry Glen Ross. And Dan, we never asked Dan if he could do Jack Lemmon, but it was so funny at the table. And it was just kind of, he slipped into the rotation of the show and still pops up from time. So I love like finding those.
It'd be pretty nice to get character payments for Gil.
Oh my God, yeah. But yeah, I don't know if we, Selman could probably answer better now because it's been a long time since I've been there on a regular basis.
Me too. Now I'm back to listener mail.
Now it's time for listener mail.
And this is a question not meant for you, but I think you may have a good answer for this. Dear Jay and guest, what's the one great gift you can give your kids?
Car.
Okay.
No, a great gift you can give a kid. My kids, if you ask them, my nickname is among the kids is the lecturer.
Right. Okay.
Because I was famous for giving these very kind of dad-like lectures about life and stuff. And one that apparently you would say a lot is learn to laugh at yourself.
Okay.
Like that.
Do you believe that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Because again, everything like traces back. I'm talking so much about my dad. My mom was the greatest mom ever. She was the absolute best, and I would not have come out here without her support, which at that time, was hard to give because you really were saying goodbye. There's
Right.
no cell phones, internet,
Sure.
and she was sick at the time.
you had to travel by train. It took months to get
yes,
from one
yeah,
coast to the other. Yeah.
But my dad had a great sense of humor, except about himself. And if you topped him,
Yeah.
if he took a shot at you, big laugh, and then you topped him, there was hell to pay.
Oh.
And my brother Brian, I don't know if you ever met Brian.
I
He was a
have.
writer on
Yes.
Simpsons, Family Guy, Drew
Right.
Carey, like that. I was working on this show called Dads. That was a Fox multi-cam
Sure.
with Martin Mull and Peter Rieger. They were putting together an opening segment, and they wanted old pictures of all. They asked all the writers a picture with your father. So I didn't really have anything. So I called my brother
Right.
Brian, and I said, "You got any old any pictures like a good picture of
Right.
me and Dad together?" And he goes, "You mean something where you're not flinching?"
All right, now it's time for the moment of joy.
A moment of joy.
I can tell you, obviously, and I just mentioned that I hadn't talked about her enough. Memories of my mom, always during tough times or funny times,
Yeah.
or I'll get on the phone with my brothers, and sometimes we'll just trade ma stories,
Right.
because she was such a in a different time she would have been a comedy writer, but she was not. She wasn't like the body broad or who would do dirty jokes. She was so smart and subtle and deadpan
Right.
and funny, and but she would also find herself in these funny circumstances. She was very Mary Tyler Moore. She actually looked a lot like Mary Tyler Moore. Sometimes I'll see the opening of an old Mary, and there's a shot of her coming up an escalator that it'll get me teary.
Oh, wow.
Because it reminds me so
Yeah.
much of her. But she would, so it's always anything about my mom, because I make it sound like she died when I was 5. I was 28,
Right.
but it was
Still pretty young. Yeah.
It was still, and we were so tight. And like I said, she encouraged the idea of me coming out here.
That's great.
While my dad was yelling
Right.
at me about it.
Right.
So and she died a year before I got my first job. She didn't get to see herself be right.
Right.
And I didn't realize how sick she was when I left. And so I realized the sacrifice. You talk about the greatest gift you can give a child. I mean,
Right.
I can't top.
That's
that.
pretty great. Yeah.
Yeah. So my mom was the best. And her name was Geraldine Scully, and insanely funny, nice woman.
That's you're lucky to have that. You're
Oh.
lucky to have that to fall back on.
Yes,
Those
I mean,
memories.
she's been gone over 40 years,
Yeah.
and we still talk about her in such recent terms, like these stories that they just happened a few months ago.
Right.
It's really, and that we kind of, keep her alive that way. And so, yeah, that's always a great joy for me.
Wow. Well, thanks for bringing me down. Whoa. Didn't want to end this way, but whatever. No, that's beautiful. Well, Mike Scully, thank you for being here. This was such a delight.
Really
a
pleasure. I mean, ever since I got your first email, I was so flattered when you said I had a last minute cancellation.
Right.
So
Right.
how do you say no?
Well, apparently you don't. So that's what I was counting on that for years. I really appreciate you being here. I really appreciate that you're this wonderful, empathetic person. Congratulations on that and maintaining it in this weird world of show business. And it's rare to get somebody who has such a deserved stellar reputation as you do in the industry.
Oh,
So-
there's a ton of darkness.
well, keep it to yourself, because I like to keep the image of you just being a good guy. And it's been great spending time with you. If you get a chance, spend time with somebody as well. And don't forget to write me at dbawjk@gmail.com if you've got listener questions or viewer mail or compliments or horrible criticisms. Send them all. I would appreciate it. And I'll see you next time.
Don't be alone with Jay.